This framed intro will make you go viral, and today I will show you step by step how to make it in After Effects. Let's go! Before we start, make sure you have your edit ready, and my composition size is 1080 by 1080 with 60 frames per second. Feel free to copy. Now let's actually start. As you can see, I have my edit in After Effects right here, and the first thing we want to create is this blue frame. For that, we're going to go to the top, click on Layer, New, and then select Solid. For the color, make sure you pick white, press onto OK, and then OK. It now should be covering our entire screen, and the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate this layer once by pressing Ctrl and D, and then I'm going to disable the top one for now. The first effect we're going to need is called Fractal Noise, so go to Effects and Presets and search for Fractal Noise. Select the normal one and drag it onto the solid layer. As you can see, we'll get this texture, and instead of the settings, we're going to put the contrast from 100 up to 200. Then make sure you open up the transform and put the scale from 100 up to 440. Also, to make it look less blurry, I'm going to put the complexity from 6 up to 20, and then I'm going to hold down my Alt key and left click onto Evolution. As you can see, this will open an expression in our timeline, and I'm just going to replace this current one with time *50, which, as you can see, if we play ahead, will now make the texture move. We don't want our intro to be in black and white, so next, to add our color, we're going to go to Effects and Presets and search for Tritone. Select the normal one, and very important, make sure you drag it underneath of the fractal noise effect. What colors you pick is completely up to you. In my case, I want to go for a bright blue, so I'm going to start with the midtones by just putting them to a similar color like this. Then for the shadows, I want it to be a lot brighter, so I'm going to go for a bright blue somewhere here. And lastly, for the highlights, I want those to be black, so I'm going to put this to dark. Press onto OK, and now we have the main thing done. Next up, we're now going to enable the second solid layer we duplicated earlier, and on here we're going to search for the effect called Roughen Edges. Drag it on this white adjustment layer, and then we're going to put the border from 8 up to 200, the scale from 100 down to 10, and also the complexity to 10. For the edging type in the very top, make sure you select photocopy. This will create this powdered look around the edges, but I want it to look a lot smoother, so I'm going to select the rectangle tool from the top, and then I'm going to start drawing a rectangle. Make sure you hold down Shift, because that will lock it into place and won't let you mess up the proportions. So make it about this size, and then make sure you place it exactly into the center of your screen. The trick here is to press F and then increase the mask feathering. Depending on how smooth you want it to look, you can adjust this value. In my case, I'm going to put it to 100, and then don't forget to press S on your keyboard and scale it a bit up so it fits the edges. Next up, we're actually going to turn this into a frame, because as you can see right now, it's still covering our entire screen. And for that, we're going to select both of the layers at once, right click, go to Pre-Compose, select the bottom option, enable this check mark, and then press on OK. Again, you want to select the rectangle tool from the top of your screen, and then draw a very small rectangle in the center of your screen like this. Very important, once that's done, we want to invert the mask, so go to your mask settings and check mark the inverted, and you want to make sure that the square is a lot smaller than you want it to be in the end. Because to make the edges round, we're now going to press M twice to bring up all of the mask settings, and then increase the mask expansion, which, as you can see, will make it bigger, and then also give us these nice rounded looks here. I also want the proportions to be a bit more like a rectangle, less like a square, so I'm just going to double click onto the mask and drag it a bit towards the left on both sides. Once that is done, we also want to create some particles, and for that, I'm going to double click onto this pre-composition, copy the bottom layer where we have our blue texture by pressing Ctrl and C, then go back to the main composition and paste it by pressing Ctrl and V. This will just give us the exact same solid again, so we can keep the same texture for our particles. And then we're going to go to Effects and Presets, search for Turbulent Displays, and very important, drag it above our fractal noise effect instead of the effect control panel. Now again, we're going to use the rectangle tool, but a bit different, so click, hold down on it, and then select the ellipse tool. Instead of creating a rectangle, this will create a circle, and we want to create a circle on top of this new layer for the particles, roughly around the center like this. As you can see, the turbulent displays makes it look a bit wobbly, which is why we're going to start by putting the amount from 50 up to 500, and the size we're going to put from 100 up to 200. The particles still look a bit weird, so I'm also going to put my complexity from 1 up to 10. This will make them look a lot better, and similar to before, we want to hold down Alt and left click onto the evolution. This will bring up the expression, and this time we want to replace this with time *25. If you don't like the position of your particles right now, you can also change that up by going into the evolution options and then playing around with the random C. I like the value 840, and once that's set, we want to make sure we drag this solid layer underneath of the frame that we created. That way our particles won't overlap with our texture on the outside. To now make the frame zoom in at the beginning of our clip so it doesn't cover the entirety of our edit, we're going to go to Layer, New, and then select Null Object. Very important, now select the white solid layer for the particles and the pre-composition with our frame, and link them to your solid layer by clicking onto the spiral and then dragging them to the null. What that will do is now when we select the null object and press S to change the scaling, all of the layers will be changed in the exact same way. We're going to start off by creating a keyframe for the scaling at the very start of our edit, and then I personally just like going ahead to about 1.5 seconds and increase the scale until your frame is not covering your screen anymore. The particles will still stay, which is why we're going to select the pre-composition and the white solid layer, press T on your keyboard, and then set a keyframe for the opacity, drag both of these a bit to the left, and then set a second keyframe for the value 0 on both the layers. Towards the end, that will now make our particles fade out as well. And because we don't want to look like goofy CapCut editors, we're going to change the graph. Select the scaling keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant and click easy ease. Then open the graph editor, and the graph I like to use for this intro is always on the faster side. So I'm going to start with the bottom handle, just drag this up like so. And then the top handle, I'm just going to drag a tiny bit down towards the same direction. Close the graph editor and make sure you enable motion blur for all of these layers, which are included in our animation. At this final keyframe, I'm now also going to select all of my layers, press Ctrl Shift and D, and then delete everything that comes past this point because our intro is over here. So we don't need the unnecessary layers. To add our effects, because right now it still looks pretty boring, we're going to select all of the layers. Again, right click, go to pre-compose, enable this bottom option and this check mark and press on OK. First effect we're going to add is called bevel alpha. So search for bevel alpha inside of your effects and presets and then drag it onto your pre-composition. Next, we're going to search for deep glow, drag it underneath of the bevel alpha effect. And by the way, if you can't find this effect inside of your After Effects, join my Discord server. In here, I'm going to put the exposure from 1 down to 0.1. And now the most important effect is going to be called BBC Raise Textured. Again, drag it on your pre-composition. And first of all, we're going to change the color from colorize to image. Then we're going to put the texture amount from 75 up to 165. The texture scale we're going to put from 15 up to 40. And the raise length from 80 down to 15. Something to keep in mind is the light source, because right now it's right here at this point and we want it to move a bit upwards. So we're going to have to click onto this button and then drag it towards the position where we want it to be in, which in my case is going to be here at the top. But depending on which resolution size you use, you might have to put a different value than me. If you also use 1080 by 1080, just copy me. And to put a bit more contrast between our clip and our frame, we're going to go to effects and presets and search for drop shadow next. Drag it on the pre-composition, put the opacity from 50 up to 60%, the distance down to 0, and then the softness to 250. This will be a lot more important later on. And lastly, to double down on the raise look, we're going to search for S_raise next, drag it on the pre-composition, and the only value I like to change in here is the raise length, which I'm going to put from 0.25 to 0.5. This next step is arguably one of the most important because we have to make our frame match up with the edit. If our frame just zooms in by itself, it will look pretty weird. So we're also going to add an animation for zooming in at the beginning of our edit. For that, move your time indicator to the very start, then select your clip and press S on your keyboard. Set a keyframe for the scaling, and because our frame is covering the edges, we can get away with making this a lot smaller. Normally you would get black edges, but because our frame is there, it won't be visible. I'm going to put this down to 70%. Then I'm going to go ahead to the 2-second marker and reset it back to 100. Important is the graph here, so select both the keyframes and then easy ease. And inside of the graph editor, we want to copy something that looks like this, so very fast at the beginning. For the top handle, I'm going to drag that a bit towards the left so it even gets faster. And then we can close the graph editor. I also recommend to add some motion tile just in case. So search for motion tile, drag it on top of your edit, put the output width to 250 and the output height also to 250. Enable mirror edges, and that will just make sure your edges don't look weird. Now it should already look a lot better, but we also don't want our clip to be visible right at the start. So we're going to create yet another new solid layer, but this time you want the color to match the color of your frame. So if your frame is in blue, you should also set this color to a light blue. If your frame is red, then you should go for red, and we're going to create the solid layer. Very important, drag this underneath of your frame but above your clip, then go to approximately 20 frames into your edit and cut the layer by pressing Ctrl Shift and D. Delete everything that comes past here, and then at the very end of the layer we're going to set a keyframe for the opacity by pressing T and then just setting a keyframe and putting it down to 0. At the beginning we're going to do the opposite, so we're going to create a keyframe at 100%. Now the last and by far most important step is going to be adding a good color correction, and it's very important that you place your color correction underneath of this intro animation because otherwise it will mess it up. And if you don't want to get my exact color correction I use to make my edits look the best as possible, make sure you check the first link in the description because I'm still running a huge sale in my shop, and you can even save an extra 10% with the code SUMMER10 on the last few days of my ongoing summer sale. If this video helped you, make sure you like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Watch this video next if you want to learn how to make an entire edit yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.